Welcome back to Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. We're going to be doing the last levels of World 1, including the boss. Yeah, this game also has the thing where if you get all the Kong levels in each level, you get the secret level, which is way harder than the normal levels.
Huh.
They're a bit more fair this time, though, compared to Returns. The Returns ones were just dickish.
They were very dickish. And that's the trend. That trend started with the Returns games.
Yeah.
Because in 2 and 3, it was Secret Worlds entirely.
Yeah, and they were more... Oops.
Ryan!
I was expecting it to go horizontal and then go back upright.
You shouldn't.
Oh, like it would go reverse.
Back the way it came.
Someone played way too much Bramble Blast.
Yeah. Do they still do the thing they did in Returns where there's no checkpoints at all?
Not in the K levels, no.
In the special worlds in this one, they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, in the K levels, no, they do not have checkpoints.
Oh, okay. Because that's part of what makes them so hard is they're long, and you have no breaks pretty much.
Yeah. But like I said, they're just better designed and not as dickish. So. Also, we have everyone's favorite Donkey Kong gimmick: vehicle minecart stuff.
Yeah? Question mark? I mean,
I like them.
I enjoy them.
Two probably did the most with them.
The roller coasters.
Well, you had the general roller coaster one to get you into it. The second one was a race with all the other Kremling kart riders.
And then you had the one in the haunted hall.
Yeah, so you had to get the plus or the minus barrels to keep the ghost off of you.
all I know is that whenever I see a minecart level, I just have Vietnam War flashbacks to Pac-Man 2, The New Adventure. Where
I hate that game. I hate that game so much.
you have to
Commentary when.
You have to
when someone wants to record it.
You have to slingshot Pac-Man to get him to jump out of his minecart. So you have a very delayed jump whenever there's an obstacle in the path.
Well, I need that G, so die.
Yeah, now you're playing Crash Bandicoot.
Yep.
So
Life
I guess
is meaningless.
So I've never really liked the kart levels in Donkey Kong, and I guess part of it is because there's not really anything to them. It's like literally you can play them with your eyes closed if you just memorize the whole thing. So I felt like, especially in Returns, there were a lot of points where there was no way you could be expected to get some of the collectibles or even to make some jumps the first time because it's just a matter of memorizing certain stuff. Or
they're auto scrollers with an actual reason to be auto scrollers.
Yeah.
I guess, but I also feel like there wouldn't be that much of a difference if you had just made the entire screen black and then flashed up a big A button prompt whenever you were supposed to jump.
Isn't that functionally a lot of games though?
Well, not really, because you still can control like whether you're going left or right, or if there's secrets to find or stuff like that.
Or what your exact momentum is when you're jumping and how far it takes you, that kind of thing.
I appreciate that there's certainly some of the more visually interesting levels in the game for sure. So as a change of pace, that's fine. I just often found the ones in Returns to be very frustrating. So
I didn't find them hard or frustrating at all, but they have that quality where, like, once you've gotten it down, there's not really anything else to do.
They exist to break up the pace, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's our first K level. Swinger Flinger. Yinger Hingeturgen.
Kingerudi.
The term swinger flinger sounds inappropriate.
It does.
So, ancient temple and all.
Always go for Dixie in these levels.
Yes. It's like, if it's a level with a lot of spikes, go for Cranky.
Maybe Cranky.
If it's
every other time, just go Dixie.
Yeah, Dixie is the best for general platforming, and Cranky is the best for negotiating the spiky stuff. It's like, you have your really situational old guy, and then Dixie Kong is just good for everything, and then there's Diddy, who is useless your first time through, but only your first time through. Like you want to.
Yeah, like I said, he's better for speed running than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, you know the level back to front, sure, use them, but like when you're exploring, you want to have that extra upward mobility.
Well, it's still in Returns. I felt completely useless without Diddy because having that hover to help you correct your jumps is very, very helpful in that game.
Not Diddy's better than having no partner at all, but
Yeah.
comparatively speaking.
Yeah.
How often does this game force a specific partner onto you?
Technically never,
Okay.
because
So-
if you want to keep Dixie in a level that clearly has cranky barrel spout, you can just ignore them if you want.
Okay, but there are levels where the barrels
level-
won't change. It's just
Yeah, it's clearly designed for. No.
Yeah, like
Poor DK had his hands reached out for the vine.
that level earlier with all the spikes had nothing but cranky crates in it.
Yeah, so
barrels,
it's
rather.
it's clearly designed for cranky, but
Yeah, but you can go ahead and keep Dixie if you want.
yeah, nothing's really
I
stopping.
mean, I
you.
don't imagine.
Yeah.
I don't really see why you ever would, especially if you actually want to get the collectibles, because a lot of them end up falling on the spikes.
And a lot of secret levels require a certain partner to reach them.
Does the game ever? How good is the game about like? Oh, you
It will
need
always
to
it would always give you the partner in the level you need to use them in.
for the secret exit. Okay, because
Yeah.
I hate when a platformer's like, oh, you needed to have brought the fire flower this entire time, and we didn't give you one in this stage in
Kirby
order
64.
to. Kirby 6. Oh god, actually Kirby 64, from what I can remember, only does that like once or twice.
It's not as bad as it could have been, but it still does it.
It still does it. It's not as. It's only a handful of times, but yes, it is irritating that time or two.
It's
happen.
weird because like it took until like the PlayStation 2 generation before smooth, intuitive game design really clicked into place for a lot of genres. So from the PS1 N64 genre on back, there's a lot of like up, down, and all arounds that you have to go through for completion in a lot of games. And that what you just described is one of the ones that was really common up until a certain
Well,
point.
the Donkey Kong Country games on Super Nintendo were actually really good about that.
Well, yeah, it's more because you couldn't really take anything from
Yeah.
one level into another one.
Yeah, it still counts though as a thing.
If there was a mechanic where you could like take Winky from one level into another, that probably would have been a thing, though.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's something that
And it's time for the worst part of the game, the bosses.
I actually seem to remember kind of liking this boss fight when I played it.
This one's fine because it's the first one, so it goes pretty quick. But overall, the bosses last way too long.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you die, you have to do them all over again.
This is a
Each boss has 3 phases of 3 hits each.
this
so
is a design aspect that platformers have been wrestling with for ages and ages and ages. The fact that boss fights and platformers tend to be pretty goddamn pathetic and underwhelming. But
It's hard when you only have like one form of attack, and it's like a
Jump
jump on them or roll. Like platformers like Mega Man, where you like can shoot stuff, or if you have like a sword or something, tend to go a little bit better because combat's more of a focus.
yeah,
but
when you have a combat system, it's a lot easier to pull off. Like, I would say Ratchet and Clank never had a problem with boss fights, but the series by the designers that they made before they added a gun combat system, Spyro the Dragon, had some pretty fucking terrible bosses.
I don't. I've only played 1 and 2. 1 has really dumb boss fights, but I liked the bosses in
There are
Two
there are
enough.
some
Twos are
there are
okay.
some okay bosses, but quality is not consistent through the series. Is what I'm getting at.
Well, the
And-
first game doesn't even really have boss fights. It has boss. You're gonna
Races.
chase him for 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
Then
My
he'll
point
give
is,
up.
no, even at their best, they pale in comparison to the boss fights in Ratchet, because combat was a lot more of a design focus, and they had all this weapon variety and stuff that you're working with. Whereas in
That was ac-
what?
that was actually something that I appreciate about Banjo-Tooie versus Banjo-Kazooie, where Banjo-Kazooie doesn't really even have bosses for the most part. Like,
aside from Grunty, yeah.
I mean, unless if you want to count that crab just standing there and occasionally swiping at you as a boss, because the music changes. I mean, I don't really. But the second game has some pretty good bosses. Like, I wouldn't say that they're among the best
Well, you
in
know,
video games, but considering that Banjo doesn't really have a lot of combat options, they're still relatively fun, I would say.
there's something.
Except for Weldar, fuck that guy.
There's something to be said for not bothering with something that your game is not designed for. I mean, bosses are kind of an obligatory thing in a lot of games, and I disagree a lot with certain mentalities toward them. Like Richard Garriott absolutely hates boss fights. His games barely have them, and they're long ass RPGs. But his reason for not including them is narrative. He thinks it's silly to have an enemy that's functionally waiting for you to get to them so that you can fight them. You can work bosses in with more narrative grace than that, dude. But punch cards. Yeah, why not? I'm not bitter.
Hold on, Ted. I have to go back to something. Weldar is where you draw the line with Banjo-Tooie?
But Weldar's an annoying ass boss. All right.
I'm sorry, Mr. Patch using aerial aiming first-person shooting combat? No.
No, just it's really easy as long as you get that one near his tail on the ground in the first part. Because he doesn't start, you only have to go to the air after the first hit. So once you get the one near his tail, which is impossible to hit when you're aiming in midair, the rest of the fight's really, really easy.
Or
That's
you don't
usually-
do that.
Also,
it's
the
a
music-
pain in the ass.
Well, I mean, it's also not really that hard of a boss fight anyway, because he's not really all that threatening. He, like, maybe throws a beach ball at you.
He
once every
is a
second.
giant balloon.
I still don't get how they got away with him having his, like, balloon hole be his penis in an E-rating game.
It's rare. That's how.
No, here's the thing. I get why they did it, alright? Rare's a bunch of perverts, and we love them for that. I don't get how Nintendo let them do that, and how the ESRB let them get away with it. So...
At that point in time, like, all of the mediums, comics and video games, were, like, really trying to see what they could get away with. And
most of the violence decisions in like Batman the Animated Series are specifically to get around the censors.
Yeah, and it's like there's other stuff like through the ages, like Power Girl's infamous massive cleavage was a result of the artists just gradually increasing her bust size every issue to see how long it would take their very negligent
The
editors
editors.
to notice, and her chest size has stayed where it is because that's where it was when the editor noticed. So yeah, that kind of stuff permeates a lot of pop culture around those particular decades. Like Lara Croft being another example, someone just set the slider up to max because they thought it was funny, and
They just kept it.
they just kept it. Yeah.
how did you not die there? With
Dixie Kong.
Yeah, but you got hit, and...
I hadn't used my Dixie power yet.
So
yeah,
you
and when
just-
you jump on an enemy, you get your power back.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes a little bit more sense. Even though you used your power upwards through that one to jump on it and then get another one after that, which is...
Now, if that had been Dixie's last hit point, he would have died.
Oh, okay, because then she just disappears and you're screwed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Also, are we back in the Northern Hemisphere in this world?
it's like you're not even gonna touch the ground, are you? Oh, you ruined it.
Well, now I have to.
Well, now he has to.
You ruined it.
Ruined it. Ruined it. Ruined it.
It reminds.
Can you tell I'm nervous as actually playing? It's just vanilla DK.
It reminds me.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little of the bouncing challenge that someone on a Sonic forum, I think it was, it might have been Sega's forum. They just put up a challenge to bounce on X number of enemies in Emerald Hill Zone Act 2 or 1 or something. And I put up a video where I did the bouncing challenge. I just high bounced off of enemy after enemy to show how many times you could do that and what kind of shit you could get up to. And the entire point of that was to show that Sonic 4 not having high bounces was kind of a fucking stupid thing.
You know,
Good times.
a job that I don't envy is whoever play tested this game, the entire thing as just Donkey Kong to make sure that it could be done. I would hate... Because, that's something that you have to do in a game with power-ups, is make sure that you can beat the level
Okay,
without them.
dude, as someone who works in an Amazon warehouse, I don't care how tedious the exercise, game testing sounds like a fucking luxury to me. So, I would do it. And I'd smile the whole goddamn time.
I mean, game testing is entirely just try everything on everything.
Game testing is tedium, but at least you're not on your feet for 10 hours. Am I right?
Yeah, I guess.
I know that I guess there's a difference between game testing and bug testing, because I know that, like, if you're specifically bug testing, last time I heard about it, working conditions for that specific kind of work were not great, but, Oh, did Donkey Kong have 2 hit points in the original?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, in the original...
in Returns.
In Returns, yes.
Okay. You know what? Maybe I thought that you lost Diddy after just 1 hit, but I guess I'm misremembering from that. Oh, wait, do you still... Oh, you there's no blow in this. Oh, thank Christ. Oh, the fact that you had to, like, blow on flowers and stuff was, like, the most pointless thing in the original game.
Yeah, you don't have to blow with DK. Hi, out of context, Twitter.
No, Ted, I think you might be right. I think you did lose Diddy after 1 hit in Returns, but you had 2 hit points as DK.
You know what? This is why we invented the internet, and all I have to do...
Specifically to look up Donkey Kong trivia, yes.
Yeah, so all I have to do is, like, look a Donkey Kong Return speed run, and then we'll see after I, like, scroll through the video enough. Oh, God, YouTube, why are you so... Okay, nope, they both had 2 hit points. All right, my bad. I misremembered.
I wonder how many people commented to correct you before you actually said you were going to search for it.
Plenty.
Yeah.
Everybody.
I mean, I've done that before.
So have I. This gets...
See, now I know it tilts downwards.
I do like
there's only like 5 or 6 different kinds of bonus stages. It's really kind of annoying in the Retro Studios games.
I do like the hectic platforming challenges.
Oh, have you guys ever done the thing in this specific bonus stage? Because a similar one's in Returns as well, where you finish the challenge, but then you mistime the cannon in order to get the actual puzzle piece, and then you lose the puzzle piece.
Yeah.
Because I do that a lot.
It's called patience, Ted. Patience.
I'm not good at patience. This is why I'm not a real doctor. I'm only a trauma center doctor. I can't do patience.
I would argue that it takes quite a lot of patience to like Trauma Center in the first place.
I mean, it's an Atlas game, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That, and it's also, a frickin' medical minigame collection, which is not exactly mainstream.
It's not... Okay, well, Trauma Team on the Wii is medical minigame collection, because there's, like... It's like Sonic Adventure, but for doctors, because there's 6 different gameplay styles. But...
Okay, now I'm imagining a character select screen like Sonic Adventure, but it's just the Atlas Doctors.
Let's not split hairs about it, Ted. It's a gameplay type that requires patience and a specific kind of mood to get into.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, for sure. Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily patience, because it's hard, but there's not a lot of waiting. It's more quick reaction and being able to handle stuff changing.
Visual novel.
I thought that was a platform.
Ryan, you just committed suicide.
I thought that little 2-part was a platform I could stand on.
Okay, in his defense, I could definitely see that if I were playing that, because I make that kind of mistake in other kinds of games all the time.
It's easy to miss.
How the hell are you supposed to? Oh, that's how. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Huh?
I was
The
wondering
puzzle
how he
piece.
was supposed to get that puzzle piece, because it looked like he bounced, like, because when he had last done a cannon bounce, there was no way he could have hit it or known that it was there, but then it passes down while he's in the other cannon, so.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, that's another level down.
And another video down.
Oh, yeah, we're at the end. How about that? So let's keep talking for another 5 minutes, shall we?